A Russian-American businessman who donated a substantial sum to Donald Trump's 2016 presidential election effort boasted to a senior figure in Moscow that he was actively involved in the Republican candidate's campaign, The Guardian can reveal. Simon Cook said he was helping Trump with strategy development and shared photos of his 29-year-old Russian girlfriend posing with the future president. Cooks made the claims to Vyacheslav Pavlovsky, a career Kremlin official and former ambassador to Norway. Pavlovsky is currently vice president of Russian Railways. The disclosure raises questions about the role played by Cooks in the run-up to the election and what information, if anything, was being relayed by him to his associates in Russia. Sign up for the U.S. Morning Briefing. Cooks's donations began 2 weeks after the meeting at Trump Tower in June 2016, when Donald Trump Jr., Paul Manafort, and Jared Kushner discussed dirt on Hillary Clinton with a Russian lawyer. In total, Cooks gave $273,000, £207,000 to Trump Victory, a fundraising committee that distributes donations between the candidate, the Republican National Committee (RNC), and state Republican parties. He had no previous history of giving money to political causes. During this period he was in regular contact with Pavlovsky. In one email written in July 2016, Cooks wrote in Russian, "I am actively involved in Trump's election campaign, and I'm part of the group on strategy development." Cooks said that he would be in Switzerland from the 20th of July until the 2nd of August, and asked Pavlovsky if he wanted to meet there. Cooks emailed again a week later, saying he would like to introduce Pavlovsky to a close friend, a Moscow oil executive, who has just flown in. They were discussing very interesting projects for Russia and the U.S., he wrote, adding, "I hope one of them will materialize." Pavlovsky had just left Russia's foreign ministry and had begun a job as vice president of Russian Railways, a powerful state entity previously headed by Vladimir Yakunin, one of Vladimir Putin's close KGB allies. The ex-ambassador said he could not meet because of work commitments. He signed off hugs. The following month, Cooks attended a Trump fundraising dinner in New York thrown by Woody Johnson, a prominent Republican supporter who is now the U.S. ambassador in London. The 13th of August event took place at Johnson's home in East Hampton. Tickets were $25,000. Cooks sent a photo of himself from the event to Pavlovsky. Next to Cooks is the former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani. Both were wearing "Make America Great Again" caps. Another guest was Anthony Scaramucci, the future White House communications director. "I was at a dinner with Donald Trump. I am in New York now. I think his chances are very good," Cooks wrote to his friend in Moscow, adding, "In the photo is America's most respected former mayor. Giuliani is currently Trump's personal lawyer." Cooks was born in Moscow in 1946. He left the USSR in 1977, while in his 20s. Cooks lived in Texas, Oklahoma, and Illinois, became a U.S. citizen in 1982, which allows him to make political donations, and worked for Phillips Petroleum in Amoco. In 1996 he returned to Moscow. He spent the next 2 decades there and held a series of executive jobs in the Russian oil industry. In 2011 he told the New York court he was not domiciled in the U.S. and lived in Russia. By 2016 he had based himself in America again, moving from Switzerland. Cooks's communications in summer 2016 are likely to be of interest to Robert Mueller, the special counsel investigating possible collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. They are revealed in a joint investigation by The Guardian, NBC News, and the London-based investigative unit Dossier. Dossier is funded by Mikhail Khodorkovsky, a Kremlin critic and former head of the oil firm Yukos. Cooks declined requests for interview. He described himself as a private individual and said that he donated to Trump in order to make contacts in Houston. He regrets the move because of press attention, he said. Mueller is reportedly looking at Russian Americans who gave money to Republican political causes. They are U.S. citizens but have deep ties to Moscow. They include Kooks, Len Blavatnik, and Andrew Intrater. Collectively they contributed nearly $2 million to political funds supportive of Trump. Intrater is the cousin of the oligarch Victor Vekselberg and was born in the U.S. He oversees the U.S. affiliate of Vekselberg's Renova Group. Federal agents working for Mueller recently questioned Vekselberg when he arrived in the U.S. on a private plane. Vekselberg is one of several oligarchs sanctioned in April for playing a key role in advancing Russia's malign activities. Blavatnik gave $133,600 to the RNC in 2016 and another $1 million to Trump's inauguration through his company Access Industries. He was born in Soviet Ukraine and has U.S. and UK citizenship. Kooks worked in Moscow with Blavatnik, Vekselberg and the tycoons Mikhail Friedman and German Khan between 1998 to 2003 when Kooks was president of the Russian oil company TNK, and they sat on the board. On September 28, 2016, Kooks gave $99,000 to Trump victory, according to federal filings. The next day Kooks attended a private Jewish fundraising event for Trump held at a Manhattan hotel. Kooks went to the event with his future wife, Svetlana Stanovkina, a Russian national. Stanovkina posed for a photo with Trump and his running mate, Mike Pence. The candidates gave the thumbs up, standing between stars and stripes flags. Svetlana Stanovkina, the tycoon Simon Kooks' future wife, with Donald Trump and Mike Pence at a private election fundraising event in New York in 2016. In October Kooks forwarded the photo to Pavlovsky in Moscow, writing, "At a dinner with Trump I saw Blavatnik. We had a very warm conversation. The person in the picture is Svetlana. We are together. How are things with you? What are your plans?" Blavatnik said his donations were made at his sole discretion as an American citizen, and in full compliance with the law. He declined to say whether he went to the Trump dinner and said he had donated to both Democrats and Republicans in support of a pro-business agenda. The RNC said that all its guests went through a formal vetting process before they were allowed to attend events with Trump. Kooks was present at fundraising dinners, it confirmed. The White House directed inquiries to the president's legal team. According to Ilya Zaslavsky, an associate at Chatham House, Kooks is part of a soft power network of well-off Russian émigrés. Zaslavsky said that the Russian government and its security services were able to exert leverage on expatriates living abroad, and sometimes made use of them in sensitive projects for reasons of plausible deniability. Zaslavsky, citing people who knew Kooks, described him as cautious, friendly, civilized and westernized, and keen to distance himself from oligarchs. However, Zaslavsky said it would have been impossible for Kooks to enjoy senior positions in the Russian oil industry without official patronage. They, the Kremlin, don't allow accidental people, he said. One U.S. intelligence expert described Kooks' communications with Pavlovsky as suspicious. "To me this reads like an email exchange between a source and a handler, or a source and headquarters," Lindsey Moran, a former CIA officer, told NBC News after reviewing the email exchanges. Kooks was asked about the former CIA officer's comments but did not respond. Kooks joined Yukos in 1996. He then worked at TNK, which was owned by a consortium of Russian billionaires including Friedman, Blavatnik, Khan and Vekselberg. Kooks was allegedly involved in the armed takeover of a subsidiary belonging to a Canadian-owned company, leading to more than a decade of litigation in the U.S. and the British Virgin Islands. In 2002 the rival firm, Norix, sued Kooks in New York. It claimed he lived in the U.S. and had bought a $1.7 million luxury apartment in the Trump Park building in Manhattan. Kooks said his wife at the time, Clara, lived there but I remained in Russia. Norix's suit included a CIA document which alleges Kooks bribed local Russian officials. Kooks denies this and Norix's case was eventually thrown out on jurisdictional grounds. In 2003 Kooks left TNK and became head of Yukos. He replaced Khodorkovsky, whom the Kremlin arrested. Kooks took over a regional oil company, Samara Nefta. According to an investigation by Forbes magazine, local organized crime groups protected its oil facility, a claim Kooks disputes. Since giving money to Trump, Kooks has avoided publicity. He founded a Houston-based consultancy, NAFTA Consulting LLC, and invested in a company that develops U.S. shale and oil assets. He was an investor in Promstroy, an oil services company. It is unclear how Kooks and Pavlovsky became friends. Pavlovsky worked in a number of senior roles at Russia's foreign ministry and ran the department in charge of servicing Russia's diplomatic missions abroad, a trusted job. He served as ambassador to Norway from July 2010 until May 2016, when Putin released him from his duties. On the 9th of November 2016, hours after Trump's surprise victory, Kooks got an email from Moscow. It was from Pavlovsky. It said, "Hello, dear Semyon. Congratulations.